And thank you all once again for clicking on my face. Maybe the red background caught your eye. Maybe you're a longtime watcher and subscriber. In either case, I love you. And first I want to thank the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by NordVPN. Because though we are cruising through life on this pale blue dot, we are doing so living our lives through the digital railways of the internet. So what's more important than ever to protect you and your information? Thus, I bring this to you. NordVPN is a VPN service that protects you and your information from the ever-prying eyes and the spies of the internet. But it doesn't stop there. We're all movie buffs and entertainment buffs. NordVPN allows you to watch your favorite movies and shows even if you're abroad. Change your virtual location with one click. You can choose between over 5,100 servers in 60 countries. You gotta love those options. So click the link below, go to nordvpn.com/Johns, get yourself a 2-year subscription plus 1 additional month with a huge discount. And with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantees, risk-free, you know I love that peace of mind. And thank you once again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. I do appreciate it. And now it dawns on me, I've never done a video on the original Terminator movie. Why have I not done that? So the original Terminator, James Cameron's Terminator, was released in 1984. Story goes, James Cameron had a fever dream in which he imagined a skeleton rising from fire. Fever dream. Can we get James Cameron on the Joe Rogan podcast so Joe Rogan can pull out of him whether or not it was really a fever dream or a fever dream? Point is, it's proof that fever dreams make for some pretty epic art. Now, Terminator 1 is a different kind of movie than Terminator 2. When I was younger, I was like, yeah, Terminator 1 and 2. It's easy to compare. I felt like Terminator 2 was everything Terminator 1 was, but it had more. But it's not. As I've aged, it's very apples to oranges. Terminator 2 is one of the greatest sci-fi action films of all time. Terminator 1 is one of the greatest sci-fi horror films of all time. The story of Terminator, in case you don't know, is in the future, well, the past now, I guess, August 29th, 1997. There was this nuclear war, this nuclear holocaust that the humans that survived called Judgment Day. The machines did that to wipe out a lot of humanity. The surviving humans of that future, which is kind of the past at this point, there's only a few more years for us until all of the future of Terminator 1 and 2 is now in the past. Do you feel old too? Because I really do. Point is, it's an apocalyptic future of humans versus machines. The machines sent back a Terminator, a machine played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, to kill the mother of the leader of the resistance, Sarah Connor. So the humans sent back a lone soldier named Kyle Reese to protect her. Which means you don't have Terminator versus Terminator combat like you have in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And that really shows how James Cameron Terminator movies play up their strengths. You know, in Terminator 2, you have Terminator versus Terminator. Yeah, sure, John Connor and Sarah Connor are still fleshy, you know, they're gonna die in like one hit from the T-1000. But for the most part, you can have the Terminator and T-1000 duke it out, you know? They have their shield, they have their tank. As long as John Connor and Sarah Connor have the Terminator, their tank, the tank can take the hits from the DPS enemy. Terminator 1 feels completely different from that. You have Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor. It's kind of like a healer and a rogue going up against this huge tank DPS boss level red. You've ever been in a raid, you understand, they're not equipped. And that's where James Cameron plays this up. Terminator 1 plays out like a horror movie. It's Cyborg Jason Voorhees before there was Cyborg Jason Voorhees. You put those keyboards down. I'm not comparing the Terminator with Jason X. I'm just saying. I have to clarify because I said Cyborg Jason Voorhees. It's the internet, it's YouTube. You understand, you get it. Terminator in Terminator 1 is so imposing, so scary. There's a physicality to him in Terminator 1. He's so much bigger than he was in Terminator 2. I mean, Terminator 2, Arnold Schwarzenegger was no joke there. I mean, it's not like I'd go pick a fight with the guy. He's still enormous in crazy physical shape, but in Terminator 1, he was beyond human. And for the first block, the first act of this movie, it plays up tension. This movie plays up tension amazingly well. Sarah Connor, yes. He starts killing the Sarah Connors in the phone book. Funny enough, the Terminator kills Sarah Connor's roommate thinking she's Sarah Connor. If Sarah Connor hadn't phoned home, Terminator would have just gone away. He thought the job was done. Terminated. I guess I'll start a family. That's a smart thing to do. I feel so bad about it now. But between the Terminator's physical presence in the movie and that come to Jesus monologue that Kyle Reese gives Sarah Connor, where it's like, this thing will not stop ever until you're dead, you really feel the lack of hope that these characters have. They never go on the offense. They're always running defense. They're always running from the Terminator, who always ends up finding them. It's not a movie of hope. Terminator 2 actually ends with that message of hope. Terminator 1 is not a movie of hope. It's a movie of impending doom, and you're just delaying the inevitable. There is that wiring in our brain that transcends hope, and that is the will to survive. And Terminator, to me, is all about that. Even on the machine's perspective, like, yeah, we wiped out humanity because we just wanted to survive. Everyone wants to survive. It's a thing that everyone understands to their core. Arnold in Terminator 1 is much more machine-like than he is in Terminator 2. That scene he's in the car and he's driving and he's constantly scanning like this, you can just tell he's like a Cylon, you know? The scanner is always on, which I get. Terminator 2, it's a machine becoming more human, or at least the best version of humanity. When Kyle Reese says he can't be bargained with or reasoned with, you understand that. You see that in the Terminator's action. There is no talking to this thing. And there's nothing I can add to the conversation of that police station massacre that Terminator does. It's just legit cinematic glory. Really is a great scene. And the musical score. The musical score is top notch. It's like that cyber musical score that movies and games now try to go back to. But, you know, Terminator was just kind of like, yeah, it's what we have. It's the technology of the time, and we're making that synthesized music. And it works for the movie. The musical score is great, not to mention the theme, which is iconic all-time theme in movies ever. But what is humanity if you don't have a couple of very human and relatable characters to latch onto? First of all, Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. If you ever have that conversation of strongest female heroes in a movie, Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor are at the top two. And as much as Sarah Connor being the badass is very much Terminator 2, this is the genesis of that. Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor are very relatable characters, you know? Kyle Reese isn't some beefcake soldier. He's not built like Jai Courtney or anything. He just seems like this average, everyday guy who happened to grow up in a time where there's a war between humans and machines. He has PTSD, he's constantly plagued with nightmares. Sarah Connor's a waitress down on her luck. They're not the ideal people to go up against a Terminator. They're not the ideal people to save the future. But as the great Galadriel said,
even the smallest person can change the course of the future.
And that's what they embody. This is another reason I love Lord of the Rings. Point is, heroes aren't born, they're made. And they're the ones who have to step up in this situation, and they do. An impossible scenario. Of the impossible cinematic scenarios, this is one of them. Just makes them very relatable characters. It's easy for the audience to project themselves into the movie and be like, hey, I'm here with you, because I wouldn't stand a chance either. Another thing I caught, it's like something I catch every time, and every time I see it, I'm like, that's cool. It's when the guy knocks on the door and Arnold's response to him is, fuck you, asshole. But what the guy asks is, you have a dead cat in there and all the flies are on Arnold's face because his flesh is rotting. He's been shot a bunch of times, he's getting infections, and he smells horrific. His flesh is literally rotting. That's so cool, because at that point, it changes it from this cybernetic organism to a cyber skeleton with rotting flesh coming after you, adding to the horror vibe. Also love the fact that the movie doesn't show you too much of the Terminator. Any glimpse of the robotics is like a treat, you know? It's a gift that's given to you, the audience. And you relish it. You see the robotic tendons, he peels his eye out, you see the robotic eye, but it doesn't show you too much until the very end. Yes, some of the effects are dated. The movie came out in the 80s. Especially you look at Terminator 2, you're like, yeah, wow, that's a huge leap in technology. But there's something cool about the Terminator. It costs about $6.5 million or something like that. It's the kind of movie that inspires young filmmakers to make movies. The point is, Terminator 1 is a masterpiece of its genre, as Terminator 2 is. Terminator 2, sci-fi action movie. Terminator 1, sci-fi horror movie. It's a movie of tension, suspense, and fear with amazing sci-fi lore in there. Because the Terminator is awesome-tacular. That's what I gotta do now in this modern age to get your awesome-taculars. I gotta go back. You get your ball off my lawn, you kids. All right, so the Terminator, have you seen it? What did you think about it? I hope you've seen it. I mean, if you haven't seen it, dude, watch it. I actually saw Terminator 2 before I saw Terminator 1 when I was younger, so that probably aids in the fact that I felt like, well, Terminator 1 is just kind of Terminator 2 with less stuff, which is why it took me getting older to realize what Terminator 1 actually offered that Terminator 2 did not.
But the Terminator, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.